So
But
it is
if it's
7:01
going
and
through-
we have 5 members. Actually, we have more. So we can begin. We can actually legally begin this time. This is good.
Yeah.
And our first bit of business is the acceptance of the minutes from the previous meeting. If I could have a motion.
I'll move that.
Second.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any adjustments? Hearing none. Lee, aye. John?
John, aye.
Ed?
Hands aye.
Dennis?
Dennis, aye.
Greg?
Strange eye.
And Matt?
Matt, aye.
Okay, so yeah, that was your first vote, Matt. That was a barn burner.
Nice and easy.
Thank you. Okay, we move to the warrant articles. So that you are aware, Monday, the select board will be going over our articles, some others as well. And I will be, Stephanie, will you be on also?
I will be.
Okay, thank you. So we will be presenting these articles if, of course, we vote to move them forward.
Okay, do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, please.
Oh, good. That would be great.
Yeah. And, okay, I need to kind of shift things around and I will.
If I'm looking in the opposite direction, it's because I've got 2 screens going on.
Same here.
And I'm looking at our funding enlarged on the big screen, and then I'm doing our Zoom on my iPad.
Okay, so the first warrant article is report and the fiscal year 2022 budget for the CPC. This is pretty standard for every year. It just reports out what your appropriations are, administrative expenses, debt service, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and then your reserves.
Okay. Are there any questions on?
Yeah, I have a question about the administrative expenses.
Yep.
Is that a cumulative amount, including stuff we haven't spent in previous years, or is that all new for this year?
I believe it's all new. I believe that Wendy explained to me that, in fact, I think it would be higher because you don't spend a lot in your administrative expenses, but I can check into that.
Okay, thank you.
So I just have a question on the Affordable Housing Trust, the 177.5, that, and I see that matches the historical. Historical's under reserves, and then so is there a reason why so I'm assuming this is their 10%.
So,
or the affordable,
yes.
but we voted on it in the past because it's not earmarked necessarily for the, I'm just being a stickler for process, but for the Affordable Housing Trust. But is this what we're doing?
So I should have explained this, Greg. That's a good question. So what Wendy proposed was to, hold on, we have someone waiting. Amanda, admit. So what Wendy proposed was if you vote for it in this article, if you vote to appropriate the 10% to the Affordable Housing Trust in this article, it'll eliminate the separate article to move it into, to then move it into the Affordable Housing Trust, which I think is that article should have been included here. I don't see it, but it would.
It's there someplace.
Yeah. So does that make sense, Greg?
Well, I guess, well, we're trying to save a step, I guess, or something. I didn't really understand that.
Yep.
And what if this was one of the years that they were looking for more than the 10%? Would it have still been done this way, or?
No, I think they would have needed to have the separate article.
Right, but the 10% is for community housing. It's not for the Affordable Housing Trust necessarily. So
Correct.
I guess I just
It-
don't get why we don't look at it as a separate article, because it's always been a separate article. I guess I just don't understand why it isn't this year. I guess, okay, Wendy wanted to save a step, but what if it was something that we wanted to debate? Why, I just process-wise, I don't get why we're doing it this way. But whatever, not a. I
Yes,
just
where-
I can see where
where
this can
does-
lead to trouble going forward if this is going to become the norm.
Where is the open space?
Right, that was my next question.
Yeah, exactly. Good question.
There's 3 set-asides that are normally
Yep.
unless we
Yep,
spend them.
reserves, Yep. Okay. I'm jotting this down. And also, if you want to hold on, I can probably pull up last year's.
I was just going to ask that.
I have to move this over here, I think.
Excuse me, Stephanie.
Yep.
There's someone in the waiting room, Shanteria. Do you recognize that name?
Hold on. I just closed the. Hold on, I have to find the waiting room again there. No. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so I can find
Right. There you go.
the meeting room again. Jeez. I will need to admit the person anyway if they're a member of the public. And to stay muted. Okay, let's see. Let's see that screen for a minute. Get back here. See if this has the budget. Sorry, this is going through double layers to get to my affordable housing.
No problem.
Okay, that's not the budget. Okay, it looks like, so I'm going to plead, I wasn't here in June because if I were, there would be a copy of the full warrant. Here we go. Maybe this is, that zoning though. It doesn't look like I have a copy of the full warrant from 2020. I'm going to try this and see if it's in here. Okay.
While you're searching through that, I've scrolled down. And I have the letter of interest to apply for CPA funds for the May 2020 meeting from the Affordable Housing Trust,
Yep.
and they're asking for $250,000.
Was land listed?
Was Wayne listed?
Land,
Was that the 10% debt, or was that for the helping out with people with COVID, with their leases and stuff?
No, because that was that special town meeting, the COVID, that was later
Right.
on. 250 was their
This is
request
their
last.
usual request that we always debate. You know, whose bank should it go in? That's usually.
Yeah, you know, I didn't mean to take us off course. I was just curious why we were doing it different this year. So.
Well, it seems it was a good question. I can't even find the budget in this draft warrant article. I mean, warrant that I have from 2020.
But and that's another good question that was it Jim or but you know where's the open space?
Yep.
Okay, Tish just said she sent me a link to the article, but I don't see an email from you, Tish.
I sent it in the chat. The link is in the chat.
Oh, I don't know that that will work for me.
Okay, I'll send you an email with it.
Well, yeah, it won't because it's on our hard drive, right? Or are you sending it from the?
Documents on demand.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me close out of that and go
are
into.
you wishing we could meet in person?
If we met in person, I wouldn't have my computer right handy like this. Here we go. Let's see. Like this is the warrant. And let me find CPA. Okay, it's not a searchable document. This is, hold on while I scroll through it. Here, I'm going to share my screen, so if someone else sees it first, they can say, there it is. You know, I know Wayne reviewed it with Wendy, and
Oh,
unfortunately.
you just went past it. Right there.
Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, open space wasn't listed there either.
I wonder if it's because you.
included the extra.
Did we spend it?
I don't think you've spent it. I wonder if it's because you have, if these are the reserve, this is the amount that's being appropriated from this year, and you have so much in the open space reserves. And as I'm saying that, that sounds familiar.
In other words, we've passed everything and we don't have to include it in a warrant article. Is that?
Yeah. And so you have your annual budgeted reserve of 304,137. Stored resources 155. I think it's because you haven't. I think it's of your total, and you probably have well over the 10%.
Wow.
Well, the 10% is on the annual appropriation. So whatever comes in 10% of that has to be set aside. And
Right.
if,
For each one of the, well, yeah, you can do it that way, and then every one of the groups is supposed to get 10% of that reserve, correct? Or
right.
Yeah.
And if we are spending all of it, then it doesn't show up in the budget part. It shows up in the warrant article part because it's not being set aside, it's being spent. That's why I asked. We haven't really spent
Not on open space.
open space.
Is it possible that since open space usually involves the purchase of land or things like football fields, is it possible that all that has been applied to debt service for conservation projects?
No, our debt service amount, that is what we pay in interest.
Yeah.
It's not any expenditure.
And if you think of it for this year, we haven't purchased any land, so
Yeah, that's true.
it should be.
No, and I think the only,
It's 35,000 potentially for the field.
well, does the committee want to hold off? We'll have to,
It would be nice to have that clarified.
Yeah, it would. I don't want to come back next week to find that out, though. Let's continue with the meeting.
well, it will need to be voted at April's meeting, and it does need to go before the select board. So they will have to, if the board doesn't vote tonight, we'll have to postpone the select board meeting. Or this topic at the select board meeting.
And we would have to reschedule a meeting fairly quickly.
April, yep.
So let's read I didn't read the explanation. The trust works to implement state mandate and provide affordable housing to. That talks about the programs that the Affordable Housing Trust, at least 250 of this amount will fund. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at last year's still.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to stop sharing that one. Let's go back to close that. Close current. And go back to this one. So this is, again, this is proposing the budget, and amounts to be funded shall be considered separate appropriations. I mean, that all the article itself is pretty standard language, as is the explanation. So, Mr. Chair, do you want to table this?
I would think we'd have to until we clarify.
I make a motion, we table this particular piece
Second.
of warrant. That's two of us, good.
Okay. Lee, aye.
John, I.
Hands eye.
Dennis,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Amanda. You have to turn your mic on, Amanda.
Right, I'm gonna abstain because I missed the beginning of the discussion.
Okay. All right. That passes then, unfortunately. So we would have to figure out when we would schedule a meeting. We'll do that at the end.
I think we have one already scheduled, don't we?
Yes.
Your next regularly scheduled meeting is April 15th.
which is not tax day this year. So that's good.
Yeah, they just moved it.
Yep.
And why did they do that? They moved it like a day or so.
No, they moved it a month.
To
Moved it to May
A whole
15th
month? Oh, they moved it to May 15th?
because they knew I was behind.
That's made even longer now. That's good.
Must be May 16th then, because I thought I heard because it was a Sunday. Oh, it's the 17th. It'll be May 17th. Okay.
Well, can we move on to the high school field article?
I'm sorry, I had down April 8th is a tentative for the next meeting. So is it the 15th?
Hold on. April 1, 2, 3, the 5th. Well, we've been meeting on the second, I'm sorry, the second Thursday of the month. So yes, it's the 8th.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah.
And it's right on the agenda too. At the next meeting.
It's hidden. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
We had
Let me share my screen again.
we did take a vote at our last meeting, the actual meeting that we had about the high school field. But I guess we have to vote again to move this article onto the town warrant.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. We will go same order. So Lee, I.
John, I.
Hands eye.
Range eye.
Dennis, you might be muted.
Sorry about that. Sheedy eye.
Or I.
Matt?
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
Matt, these meetings are much more fun in person.
I don't doubt it.
This is right up there with Novocaine.
I don't know, we might prefer Novocaine soon. Let's see.
Exactly.
So the next item on the agenda is a promotional schedule, session scheduling. I think we talked about this. Stephanie, what is the status?
This, I think this was discussed, and I believe that you and Meredith agreed to do it. So Wayne and I were talking about it, and the thought was, tell us some dates and times, we'll schedule it, and then have ECAT get in touch with you with the link that you'd be doing it from.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming that you and Meredith haven't communicated with ECAT about setting up a session.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. And Meredith is not with us tonight. So we're looking at this, you want to do it this month, do you think, Stephanie, or?
Well, the idea is to generally do it before the town meeting. So, I mean, sometime in April probably makes sense.
Okay.
Maybe the middle of the month or towards later. I think it does anytime so that it's at least 2 weeks before the town meeting, but probably not so far ahead that people kind of forget what they heard.
Okay. Well, one possibility is to do it on the 15th, which is tax day, right? But we aren't having our meeting that day, so that's the middle of the month.
Actually, tax day has been moved
Yes.
to May.
May 15th or 17th.
Right.
But I think it doesn't, this doesn't correlate or need to tie to having a tax date. So why don't we do this? I will just email you and Meredith and see and ask for a couple of days and times that work, and
Okay.
then we'll coordinate with ECAT.
Okay. So we move to the letters of interest.
Okay. And you can see my screen, right? I am sharing it.
No.
Not yet, no.
Okay, that's what I was looking for just now, is the share screen. I have to keep
Down the bottom.
this. Right, but it disappears and
Here it's back.
move things around. Okay, that's the field. That's the shares, right?
Yes.
Affordable Housing Trust, letters of interest. And at least at last week's meeting, the idea was that we just communicate and let everyone know that what we received, and give everyone an opportunity to review and look through them, and then maybe schedule a full discussion or at the next meeting.
Okay.
So of course, you can see we received a letter of interest from Oaks Ames Memorial Hall for the full, actually phase 3 of the comprehensive needs assessment. And that's, I think that's the only one we've received. It is letters of interest. I think that was it.
So all we're doing is accepting this and notifying the person that we have received it.
Right.
No discussion.
Right.
In that case, I guess we have completed that.
Yeah.
Yes, so that was an easy one.
Right. Yeah, I think there would, I know it's a one page, but to have a discussion, I think would require a little more detail. I don't believe we need to take any action, Stephanie, at this point. There's no votes involved.
Okay, then
I think we can,
you want to move on to the next item on the agenda?
that would be the executive session. Is that
Right.
correct? Yeah.
Yes. For the purpose of considering purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, and it would be suggested not to return to open session.
Okay. Could I have such a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Is that enough of a motion?
Before,
No, we have to vote to include the.
Yeah.
right.
Let me-
Before we do that, I'm going to unmute whoever is identified here as Shantira. If they could identify themselves, if they're just a member of the public, because they will not, if that's the case, I don't think it's a member of the board. But Shanteria, if you could identify yourself. Okay, so the assumption will be that that individual is a member of the public.
You can unmute them.
Oh, it's the ECAT account.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, from
Oh, yeah,
That
down
was
in the
It's an
chat,
ECAT
there's a
account.
note.
Yep, it says at the bottom.
It says this is an ECAT account.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Can I make a shot at the motion?
Yes, Dennis.
I'll make a motion to adjourn, not to return to open session, and to re-adjourn in executive session for the purpose of real estate acquisition or discussions, and that we allow Danielson and I'll participate.
Right.
Second.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and the way we will be doing that is by,
Gotta be roll call.
Yes, we have to have a roll call vote.
and then I'll tell you how we're going to do that. How we're
Okay.
going to.
Lee, aye. John,
John, aye.
Ed,
And I,
Dennis,
Aye.
Greg,
Strange eye.
Amanda,
Aye.
and Matt.
Aye.